Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode on Off Script. I'm Jamaal Bernard. I'm here with a special guest. I'm excited about this guest, our very own state senator, Senator Schumer. Senator Schumer, thank you and welcome here.
Pastor
welcome,
Jamaal,
welcome.
first,
Yes,
I'm glad I've been in this church hundreds of times. As you know, we helped get the whole thing started before this church was built, and my wife even helped get the rezoning. I love your dad. I wish your mom the best. I hear she's recuperating.
Yeah, she's recuperating. Had a little scare with cancer, but thank God.
Praise God.
Yes,
Praise
she's
God.
doing great. She's doing great.
And finally, congratulations to you. On Friday, you'll be installed as first pastor, and you couldn't have, the church couldn't have, CCC couldn't have a better new leader. They know you well. They love you. Your dad is a mentor to me, and now you will become a mentor to me too.
Oh Lord, that's the pressure right there. I felt I was doing good until you put that on me. Well, Senator, thank you. You've been a friend to the family, a friend to the ministry, and an amazing senator. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited.
Me too.
About this conversation. So we're gonna dive into it, and like I said, we're gonna have fun. So you can relax.
I always have fun when I'm here.
Amen.
I always
good.
do. CCC.
Good. Yeah. So Senator, how did you get involved in politics?
Oh,
You've
that's
been
a
in the
great
game
story.
for a minute.
Great story. So I was born and raised here in Brooklyn, in southern Brooklyn. My father was an exterminator, never made much money. My sister actually used to send him a Father's Day card. Dad, we're the only family that associates the smell of DDT with love. As he'd come home from work reeking of all those chemicals. But I got into Harvard. No one like me got into Harvard in those days, a working class kid from southern Brooklyn. Why? I got in for two reasons. First, I was a decent, not great, but a decent basketball player over at Madison High School.
My mom went to Madison.
Did she?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow. Well, I got a good education there, but I was on the basketball team. And that's and our motto at Madison was, we may be small, but we're slow. Anyway, so that was one. But second, I had to get a job when I was 14. Tell my family, you could get working papers in New York when you were 14. And a Madison High School teacher had a little note on the job board. We all tried to work and help our family, so they had this job board. Starting new business, need part-time clerical worker, needs to know how to run a Mimeo machine. Pastor Jamaal, you probably don't remember what a Mimeo.
No.
There was a day before Xerox machines. You take a stencil, you type it out, you put it on this clunky machine with rollers and go around and around. The ink was the best legal high I have ever experienced. I tell people, if we still had Mimeo machines, we wouldn't have had to legalize marijuana. Anyway, but what was this new business this guy was starting? He had this brilliant idea. He was going to prepare students for the SATs.
That's amazing.
What was his name? Kaplan. Later became a huge business, and he sold it, but that was long after I was gone.
Wait, anyway. I got to correct that. My mother didn't go to Madison. Her sister went to Madison. She actually was a part of the sponsored segregation, and so they started busing her in into a school in Queens. I'm trying to remember the name of the school.
John Adams.
Nope.
Hillcrest.
Nope. It was off of Metropolitan.
Franklin K. Lane. Or Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland, yes, that's the school.
Well, we used to play Grover Cleveland, and being small but slow, we always lost.
You always lost?
Tell your mom. But anyway, so what was this new business? He was preparing students for the SATs, and as the machine, I was in this little 3-foot by 3-foot room, no windows, and it would go around and around. So I read the preparatory materials over and over and over. I had nothing else to do. And I got 800s on my tests, not because I'm so smart.
Because you remembered.
Yeah, I was the first person to prove that you could study for these tests, which later became big controversy, as you know. Anyway, so the guidance counselor at Madison High School calls up my mom and says the only college he's applying to is Brooklyn College. How come? She says, well, it's nearby and it's free, because in those days, that was a great thing. City University
Brooklyn College was free?
Yeah.
It's so expensive right now.
I know, free. We had free tuition. That was a thing in New York City that got abolished during the crisis. I wish we could bring it back. I wish we could bring it back. Look at all the debt people have. I'm trying to get that debt off some of the people's shoulders.
We could talk about the whole idea of college, because my son is going to college, and I'm like, man, this is so expensive.
So expensive. No, in those days, even when they charged tuition, it wasn't that expensive. I had to work my way through
community college to start off with, because he's not sure where he wants to go, and that's still expensive.
Still expensive.
Yes.
But then it was free. So the guidance counselor calls up, says he's an athlete with 800s. I can get him a good ticket at Harvard. There aren't too many of those. I get in, I'm scared to death. How am I going to make it with all these fancy people from
Yes.
in those days, Harvard was all these just fancy, what they call preppies, you know?
Yes.
So I go to the one guy from my high school, gone to Harvard before me. He was 10 years out. I said, how am I going to make it this place? He was a ball player too. He says, try out for the freshman basketball team. They're terrible. So you'll make it. Those will be your friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fourth day of school, tryouts. We're wearing these little numbers. Coach calls me up. Number 27, yes, sir. You're Schumer, yes, sir. Oh, you played for Madison, yes, sir. How's Coach so-and-so? He's fine, sir. Then he looks at me funny. You played forward? I said, yes, sir. He said, how tall are you? I said, I'm 6'1", sir. He said, can you dribble? I said, that's not my strong suit, sir. You know what he said? Go home.
Oh.
I was distraught. I wrote my mom a note. I said, I told you I should have gone to Brooklyn College. I'm a flop here already. That night, fate, God's hand, someone knocks on my door and says, how would you like to join the Harvard Young Democrats? We're working for a man named Eugene McCarthy, who is working in the New Hampshire primary against Lyndon Johnson because we shouldn't be in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
I didn't have a political bone in my body, Pastor.
So you weren't either Republican or Democrat?
I was
back
neither.
then. It was neither.
But if you didn't go to college, you were drafted, as I'm sure people from CCC know, the older people. And one of my friends was drafted and 10 months later dead in that war.
Wow.
So I said, I'll do it. And that's how I got involved.
Wow. Talking about the war and all this stuff. What do you, we're going to switch gears. What is your take on, all of the violence that we're dealing with? Because you look at the
Charlie
spectrum,
Kirk,
right?
look what happened.
It was a sad thing about Charlie Kirk. And from a Democrat, what was your response?
Look, Charlie Kirk and I didn't agree on most issues and occasionally went after me, and that was legit. But you know what I loved about the guy? He talked to people.
Yeah.
He did not try to just say, here's what I think and you ought to listen.
Yeah.
He would have audiences with people, and he'd sometimes go talking to people who he didn't agree with. And so I think all of us, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, there's too much violence.
Yes.
2 state legislators, Democrats, were shot in Minnesota, remember, at their door, killed dead. There is just too much violence. And let me just say this, Pastor. I think leaders, I don't care what their party is, they could be political leaders, they could be religious leaders, they could be any business leaders, sports leaders, they should condemn violence.
Yes.
Violence is not the way of this country. Do we have debate? Yes. Do we sometimes disagree? Of course. Sometimes does that disagreement get pretty tough? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have disagreed vehemently with Donald Trump on certain things, cutting Medicaid and all this other stuff. But always be civil. Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
And I think that's what hurt me, because when I started looking at some of the responses, right, from a lot of individuals, it's almost to the point where they were cheering it on. And I'm like, man, what happened to the sacredness of life, right?
Exactly.
What happened to how we really look at life at such a level? And so
God says each human life is precious.
Yes. So there's a statement called Tikkun Olam.
Yes.
Right?
Very good.
Right?
Yes.
Did I do it right?
You did it exactly. Tikkun Olam means heal the breach.
Yes.
And what it means in the Jewish religion, I'm proud to be Jewish and a great person of faith. Although I actually, even though I'm Jewish, I spend more time in churches than I do in synagogues. I'm here all the time, as you know.
We're going to get you on our side, Jew for Jesus.
Yeah. But in any case, it's healing the world and our faith. And it's like the Christian faith.
Yes.
Jesus said the same thing. You should always work for the betterment of people, and people who need help should always get help. My dad, can I tell you a story about my dad?
Yes,
He had a rough life. As I said, he was an exterminator, struggled his whole life. But when he passed away 2 years ago at 98, I miss him every day. For those of us who have lost parents sort of recently, he's still here.
Okay.
And even though he had a tough life, he taught me 2 values more than any other pastor. One, always need people who need help. That's what the scriptures teach us. Tikkun Olam.
Yes.
When people need help, you should help them, what Jesus taught as well. And second, he said, if you're doing something important, look in your heart. Make sure it's the right thing to do. Pray on it. And if you're sure it's the right thing to do, persist. Don't give up. God will reward you, and you will succeed.
Yes.
That's been the 2 lessons of my life taught to me by my dad.
That's amazing. And I think, right, because the conversation is usually the common good, right? How do we navigate as politicians, right, to really push the common good, and what does that look like, right?
Yep.
So the first question is, what is the common good? and how does that look for the New York people? And the conversations come up. As a man of faith, I'm a man of faith. The whole idea of pro-life.
Yes.
Right, and I watch how you navigate the conversations.
Yeah,
and
look,
because you got a responsibility from a political perspective, right, of making decisions, and then you got your faith that helps informs you. How do you navigate that?
That's a great question, and it's one I've thought a lot about. I am pro-choice because I believe each person should make their own decision in talking to their religious leaders, in talking to their doctors, in talking to their families. But whatever your view, you should respect the other side. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be vicious, mean, nasty to the other side, because these are our heartfelt beliefs that come from our faith, that come from our beliefs as human beings as we walk the earth. And it's a little bit what we said about before.
Yeah.
Show respect. That's one of the things I worry about in this new world we're in. People don't show enough respect for each other and let these differences, whether they be political, religious, or whatever, just become overwhelming. Respect is so, so important. And I'll say one other thing. I think the social media has made things worse.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
And you know one of the worst things about it, Pastor?
Everybody has a platform now.
Everyone has a platform, and it's anonymous.
Yes.
The kinds of things people might not say to each other face to face,
Yep.
they'll say on the internet and say, my name is 3ZX, whatever, and no one knows what they are.
Yeah.
So one of the thoughts people have is to say there are pros and cons, but maybe it shouldn't be anonymous.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if you're going to stay out there, stand by your word. Because we're from Brooklyn, right? And my thing is, if you said it, say it, right? Own up onto it. Because and that's a key point. You and I are good friends. I love how my father and you navigate, and I see that y'all don't always agree on things, right? Yep. So my thing is, I'm against abortion when it's especially when it's used as a birth control. Right. But yet you're pro-choice, and yet we can still have this conversation,
of course,
and still hug. Say, let's go out to dinner. Because one day I was going to bother
Jamal,
you.
I don't think any less of you for your view, and I hope you don't think any less of me for my view.
No, not at all. One day I was going to bother you. I saw you Peter Luger's.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, let me bother. But I said, okay, let me behave because I saw you were
you bother
there.
me. Let me tell you.
But next time I see you there, I'm going to come and sit down and hang out.
I love steak.
Yes.
And it's the best steak in the whole world.
Yep, the one in Great Neck. I saw you. I said, watch out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact is, I think if America doesn't shift, right, and how we interact, and leadership has to express this, Senator.
That's correct.
Leadership has to be able to say, we're willing to talk. Like, so when I see something like this happen, and you got Democrats, cheering it on, you got Republicans, going after them for cheering on. It's like, okay, when do we say enough is enough?
Anyone who can cheer on the death of another person, especially when he was there teaching students, don't have to agree with him. Yep. I don't agree with him.
Exactly.
But teaching students and then cheer that on, something is wrong with our moral fiber.
Yeah. So I put ownership
and that's against,
on the leadership.
It's against the faith. You're right. We have to lead. I came out with a statement. It got speaking of the internet, it got hundreds of thousands of views saying we regret. I don't agree with him, but we regret what this happened, and violence has to be condemned by everybody.
And thank you for modeling that. Thank you because I see how you navigate. You have conversations with Republicans, you have a conversation with Democrats, liberals, and all that stuff.
You know what I find, Pastor?
I appreciate that.
Talking to people really matters.
It does.
When you talk to people, their humanity comes through to you, your humanity comes through to them.
Yep.
That is it's so important. And these days, this is what I worry about. I have beautiful grandchildren. I worry about them. I worry about the future of the world. And I worry that if they get so into just being, on the social media, they're not going to talk to people.
Yes.
And that's our humanity.
Yep. So, Senator, thank you for modeling the idea of Tikkun Olam.
Yes.
Thank you for modeling the idea of saying, okay, this is about, the common good for
mankind.
And
I'll say another thing. People are missing some faith.
Yes, faith.
I believe so in faith. We can have different religions and respect each other, but faith is so important. And that's why I've always, when COVID happened, and all our churches, even this beautiful one of the most famous churches in the world, no one was here. There was no collection plate. And so I wrote into the COVID law. I'm the majority leader of the Senate. A lot of people said don't do it. that not only should our businesses get the PPP program, but so should our houses of
And we
worship.
thank you for that.
It kept
Yes.
thousands of churches
It
open
did.
because
It
our
did.
churches are where people come and talk together.
Yes.
People
Yes.
meet each other, and you meet.
Yes.
And it
Yep.
doesn't have to be a church. It could be a synagogue. It could be a temple. It could be a mosque. It's such an important thing.
But they say that it
And
is.
so what you're doing here as pastor is, well, to use something that's real, but is God's work.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, they say that religion gives a base of objective morality. And if you run the government or a society with subjective morality, who says what's right and what's right and what's wrong is
Exactly.
wrong? So, Senator, thank you so much for taking time out, for being here with us. You are watching another episode of Off Script with our guest, a friend of the family, Senator Chuck Schumer. Senator, any last
Pastor.
closing remarks?
Yeah, I love you.
Oh, I love you
I wish
too.
your mother the best.
Thank
I
you.
love your dad. He has been such an inspiration for me. Sometimes when I have trouble, I call him up, and boy, he's amazing. And you have gotten that same gift, so God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.